if you are watching your ex make all of these changes and you are suddenly wondering, am I the problem? Did I actually ever show up healthfully in the relationship? This episode is for you. One of the things that can cause the most mind fuckery as you are exiting a relationship that you left because on one hand, you knew it was really painful and toxic and unhealthy, and the dynamic got too big and you had to leave. But then you're watching your ex start to make all of these changes that he said he was going to make for maybe the last several years. And it's leaving you feeling confused and anxious, and you're really starting to question if you were the problem all along. So if you are in that place of, oh my God, was it me? This episode is for you. My intention for you from this episode is to really give you some clarity on why watching him make these changes is making you go to this place of assuming that you're the problem. It's going to give you some discernment around why this glow up that's happening for him doesn't automatically mean that you overreacted or that you are the one to blame. And I'm going to give you a real way to measure how healthfully you show up on the relationship scale. So are you showing up more healthfully in a healthy relationship or unhealthfully in a toxic relationship? And be sure to stick around to the end of the episode where I will pull an oracle card. This always offers you a message that you can take with you on your healing this week. Okay, so let's take a deep breath and begin. Okay, I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this today because there's been several women in the last couple of weeks, either in my free intro sessions that I've been talking to, or who are clients of mine in my Becoming program, who are moving through this frustrating confusion of, am I the problem? And because there are a couple of different things that I want to pull from everybody's story, I wanted to give you this example through a fictional character that I'm going to create for you today. And her name is Ariel. And short little backstory here of why I chose the name Ariel. When I was a little girl, I used to watch The Little Mermaid on repeat. Like, imagine sitting in front of this old super tube box TV, cross-legged on the floor, I don't know, probably 2 feet away from the screen, just immersed in the mermaid land, in Ariel's world. I knew all of the songs. I knew all of the lines. I still know all of the songs, most of all of the lines. It is wild. But I watched this movie so many times that Ariel was my absolute favorite character or princess in the world. And as I sort of think about this now, I'm like, wow, Ariel actually stands for a lot of the ways that we lose ourselves in these types of relationships. Looking to a Prince Charming to save her, changing her entire self, like going from mermaid to human in order to get love, the abandonment, the sacrifice, the literally muting of your needs. There are so many parallels here that it's kind of just mind-bending to think about that was a children's movie. So it fits on many levels. I loved it, and I had that piece of nostalgia, so I'm going to use the name Ariel. And Ariel really is this like epitome of the woman who has lost herself in these relationships. Okay, so back to the story. So Ariel has been in this relationship for several years, and they have been sort of on again, off again. When it's good, it's really fucking good. When it's bad, she's really clear that it's bad, but can't seem to quite fully detach. There's always that promise of hope. There's always him, coming back around with the promises, the apologies. And she really wants to believe it. She really wants to believe that he's a good person, that he can be who he says he wants to be, that they can have this beautiful dream life together. But they had a recent fight, and it became very, very clear that they need some space. So Ariel had what I called the fuck this shift, where she was like, fuck this. I can't keep going on this roller coaster. I can't keep focusing on him and draining all of my energy. I can't keep researching therapists or rehabs or jobs for this person. Like, nothing is working. I am totally just a shell of myself right now. I feel exhausted, overwhelmed, stressed out, burnt out. I just can't. Like, fuck this. And so they're taking a break, but they still are living together at this moment for several reasons. So she's still very aware of what is happening for him. They're sleeping in separate rooms. They're creating distance as best as possible, trying to not really engage. But like, you can't not see what someone's making for breakfast, or you can't not see them get up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, right? So she's starting to see him do these things that she has been like clawing tooth and nail for years, asking him to take better care of himself physically, caring about what he eats, going to the gym, actually doing grocery shopping and not just ordering in for every meal. So she's watching that happen. He's also starting to look for a job. He's been really unhappy in his job for several years, and that's been adding to the stress of everything. And that's been a big point of fighting and arguments that they've had. So he's looking for new jobs. He's also starting to search for a therapist. And he's coming to her and sharing his feelings, which he's never, ever done, with seemingly having the awareness of, I know I haven't been showing up the right way for you. I haven't been able to communicate my feelings because I've been really afraid. Like really using some of these more vulnerable words, more vulnerable concepts to describe maybe what's been happening. And so she's watching him change. She's watching him do all these things that have taken him years to actually do, which also is a little bit different than times in the past where they have split and he's made some changes. To Ariel, this feels like a real change. Oh, he's actually, like he's always said he wants to see a therapist, but now he's actually making phone calls. Or he's always said that he wants to get back to the gym and maybe would do it for a week, but now it's been 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So it feels different to her. And so what's happened is in the relationship, there was a spotlight on him and what he was doing or not doing. And now that she's watching him do all these things, the spotlight has shifted onto her. And she is like, fuck, am I the toxic one? Am I the problem? Am I the emotionally unavailable one who just hasn't been able to receive the love that he's been trying to give me? Like, has he actually been putting in effort and trying to love me this whole time? But I've been the one that hasn't been able to receive that and like pushing him away? Am I the one that's not putting in my part in the relationship? Have I not been showing up healthfully? Or did I actually just overreact and break this relationship and ruin something that wasn't bad? So she is literally in this place of indecision, of second guessing everything. Instead of feeling relief of coming out of this relationship that got to a crescendo of like, fuck this, she's not feeling relief. She's feeling confused and she's feeling anxious. And she's feeling weirdly guilty. Again, like in this indecision of, did I make the right decision or didn't I? Am I healthy or am I not? Is he toxic or is he healthy, right? It's so confusing. She's so confused right now. And so what she's doing is starting to replay all of the fights and all of the conversations that they had. But as she's going through these conversations and these fights, now she's feeling even more confused. She's not finding clarity here. So she's going through specifically some moments where he said that she was the narcissist, that she was being overly dramatic, that she was making shit up just to have a fight, and that she's not seeing what he's actually doing to try to be a healthy person in this relationship. And instead of what she had thought of, you're just not hearing me, you're not seeing how much I'm trying. Now she's thinking, fuck, is he right? And she's finding herself spending more time analyzing and replaying and focusing on what was, if they will work, what she needs to do, more time than she even was when she was in the relationship. And I will tell you that was a lot of time. Like 98% of her mental space when she was in the relationship was consumed or focused on him or what was happening or what she needed to do to prevent something from happening. She was expending an incredible amount of energy in the relationship. And now she's up to 100%. There's no relief. So she's confused, she's anxious, she's second guessing, she's replaying everything, There's no relief here. She's very, very worried. And in watching him do these things, she's like feeling this pull to say thank you, to appreciate the way that he is showing up differently. Like, oh, you loaded the dishwasher. Thank you for doing that. Oh, you made some food and left me some leftovers. That was really nice of you. You didn't have to do that. We're technically not together, but thank you for doing that. And it's like softening her. So she went from a fuck this, and that has now turned into a hell yes with a question mark. Like she's still not entirely sure, but she's liking what she's seeing. He's doing the work, and she's just refocused on maybe I'm the problem. And if I just get my shit together, then we can show up as two healthy people in this relationship because it looks like he's showing up healthfully. But there are two problems here for Ariel. The first is that there hasn't been enough time to really see how sustainable his changes are. So she's liking what she's seeing, but it's only been a couple of weeks. The second problem is that she doesn't actually know what a healthy relationship looks like. So she has always been in relationships where she has had to self-sacrifice or where there was an imbalance of power, where she's attracted to these really charismatic people who take up a lot of space and who she finds herself shrinking for. And there's always been some element of emotional abuse or some sort of manipulation, not overt abuse, and she wouldn't even use that word, but there's been stuff that hasn't felt great. So she wants to understand what a healthy relationship looks like. And she's trying to pull from social media and pull from snippets of movies and shows of like, what is healthy? Am I healthy? Am I the problem? I don't really know. She's like very confused in how to organize this comparison for herself. But Ariel has been to therapy. She is self-aware. She has read the books. She has binged the podcasts. She has taken in so much information that she should be an expert in relationships, yet she can't seem to retain the information, and she definitely can't seem to execute the changes that are offered through therapy or the books or the podcasts. So she's also feeling a little bit like something's wrong with me here because I should know better than this. I've been putting a lot of money and time into learning these things, and it's not shifting how I'm showing up in a relationship or what I'm doing or the people that I'm attracting. She knows that she has some codependency, but she doesn't really know how to shift that. And she isn't sure if it's actually bad enough to have ruined the whole relationship. She knows that she has a hard time expressing her feelings and that especially when he gets really angry, she shuts down. But she doesn't know if that is because he's just not a safe person or if that's because of all of her own shit and she's causing that problem in the relationship. And she's tried in the past to be really self-aware and come to these hard conversations with him differently, but it always ends in her feeling really confused and like it's her fault. And so she just honestly doesn't feel like anything's going to work. So she's really in this confused, hopeless place. And what Ariel really needs right now is a way to start to decipher where she's at. So if you resonate with what Ariel is going through, likely you need a way to decipher where you're at. Am I showing up more on the healthy end of that relationship scale? Am I showing up more on the unhealthy end of that relationship scale? So I have a free guide that I want you to download. This is called the Relationship Reset Guide, and it's going to help you understand 3 core things that you need in order to show up healthfully in a relationship. And it gives you a takeaway tool for each of these things so that you can start to implement this understanding right away and start really shifting your behavior in the ways that you can control. I know for me, when I was still in my narcissistic relationship, I was really in that indecision place of not knowing if I should leave or if it would be throwing it away or if I left, if I would be alone forever. There was big stakes in my mind for leaving. If this is the wrong decision, then I fucked everything up. That was what I was thinking. And I needed to try everything. I needed to try to speak my needs. I needed to try to maintain boundaries. I needed to try to reclaim my independence outside of him and not feel guilty or not go home early because I was scared of XYZ happening. I really needed to try to not shut down when he yelled at me. Like I needed for myself, for my, like, in order to feel 1,000% confident in leaving, I needed to try everything. And I needed to start to shift the way that I was showing up in relationships, which I did put a lot of effort into doing. And as I started to do all of those more healthy behaviors, it really created the stark separation or the stark contrast of what the relationship was, because he did not like that. And that really exacerbated his narcissistic behavior. In my case, I was with a narcissistic person. And when we were in those periods of me contemplating if things were actually going to get better and him showing up differently, in my case, that was actually him just roping me into another round of the narcissistic relationship cycle where we were going through the love bombing stage again. And I was really just like going to set up shop in potential land because he had hooked me back into believing that he was going to make those changes. And I took him off the hook for the lies and the manipulation and the betrayal and the things that were happening. But I don't know specifically the type of relationship that you're in. So if you're in this place of watching him make the change, not sure if you're the problem, what I guide my clients through, whether or not they stay with their partner that they're contemplating not being with, is really starting to build these healthy behaviors, because you need them whether this relationship's going to work or the next relationship is going to work. So you putting your time and attention on yourself instead of him as best you can, especially if you're watching him very intimately do these things, but you putting your attention on you is going to give you the best ROI, the best return on your investment, because that is what's in your control. What's true is that a relationship is always a dance between two people. And I really believe that if you have hit this place of a fuck this shift, that means that what was not working, right? And so likely there will have to be big shifts from you and big shifts from him in order to even think about coming back together and creating a new reality together in a healthy foundation, a healthy relationship. So again, whether or not this relationship works or the next one works, doing this work is like a 3-part win right here by doing this self-work. It's giving you the skills and the confidence to show up healthfully in a relationship. And then as you exercise your healthy patterns and healthy behaviors in the relationship, it's going to give you clarity on if that person can meet you. So that's the second benefit, is you're going to be able to see very clearly, oh no, I'm 100% sure that I showed up to that conversation more regulated and aware of my feelings and communicating my needs, and you gaslit me, right? That's going to be a very clear, understanding. It's going to give you the skills to be able to build a new foundation if he is showing up with these sustainable changes, or it's going to give you the skills to build a new foundation with someone else in the future. Maybe that was 4 benefits. Anyway, it's a lot of benefits. So I know you've been in the practice of focusing on him and worried about him and wanting him to change and worried about his changes now being the thing that's causing you to feel like the problem. But I want you to turn back into yourself. Focus on yourself. And this relationship reset guide is going to really help you decipher where you're at in that process with some implementation skills right away so that you can start to change some of those things. One more thing I want to say about him making his changes is that you need time to see how real those changes are. And if those changes are coming from a self-motivated place where he's hit a rock bottom moment for himself, or if it's coming from a manipulative, I'm trying to do this to dangle this shiny carrot in front of your face and bring you back to me. So you need some time to pass in order to see how consistent and reliable he is, because you don't know the motivation behind those changes. There's just some time that's needed to see. What I coach my clients through in my bigger program is really how to do this in a way that it's not focused on him, it's focused on her. And while she's doing that, while she's building herself up, while she's finding clarity about what's happening, while she's processing through her old shit that's made her show up the way she does in a relationship, or maybe the old shit from the relationship with him that's felt traumatic or like there's never been resolve around. While she's doing that inner work, she's also gathering data around what's happening with him. And so those two things in tandem are going to give her and you a lot more clarity around what is happening. And clarity is, for me, like the ultimate goal, because confusion is often the primary feeling that women that I work with come in with. So the Relationship Reset Guide, first step, go download it absolutely right now. It's in the show notes. But if you are ready to take this exploration deeper, and let's say that you have really agreed with your partner, we're taking 3 or 4 months off from each other to do our own work, my signature program, Becoming, is going to be the perfect place for you to direct your energy during that period of time. It is really going to be that safe container for you to break the emotional pull of toxic dynamics, find absolute clarity in yourself and in the relationship, and start to become that peaceful, confident woman in relationships. The Relationship Reset Guide is free, and that will help you start. The Becoming program is going to immerse you in this work so that you can make real, sustainable changes. So both of those links are in the show notes. Okay, and finally, let's pull a card, see what the message is for you today. And it is Pounce. So I will find Pounce in the book and I will read to you what it says. You have waited, you have watched. Your diligence and patience have paid off. And now it's time to pounce. Pounce is here to let you know that now is the time for focused action, to jump into, to jump onto, to jump out of. No need to continue to observe. You have stalked the situation long enough. Be nimble, be light-footed. Jump in, jump out, be bouncy. The universe is pushing you to get in there and claim what is yours. Do your thing with precision, enthusiasm, and intention. Get after it. All right. Now's the time to pounce. Those links are in the show notes. And until I see you in the next episode, please remember that you are not alone.